Hello everybody, my name is Coda, and welcome back to my survival series. This is episode 2, and if you remember last episode, we left off with an outline for our starter house. In today's episode, we start with our starter house, almost done. There's still some detailing work that needs to be done, some terraforming around it, and the inside, of course, needs to be finished. So that's what we'll do in today's episode, and I hope you enjoy. So this is what we're working with on the inside. There's quite a bit of space in here. There's enough room for an upper story, I believe, and we've got a back door and a side door around here. And this is the back section of the house. You can see I've got a nice little patio laid out, and eventually I want to put some docks down here. But yeah, I finished it all the way around, and there's no windows right now because I figured I'd put those in whenever we get the layout situated and actually know where they should go. As for the inside area, I don't have any ideas. I know like fundamentally what I want to put in the house, like a potion brewing area, maybe a small enchanting area, stuff like that. But I do know I think I want this section to be where my storage area goes because it'll be quick to the front door and quick out the back door too, which is always important. Like I did with the outline of the house, I'm going to lay everything out in cobblestone first and kind of rearrange it as I see fit. But right now, I think we're going to get started. So, bear with me here. This might seem a little bit crazy. My methods are probably going to be a little hard to understand, but I'm going to try and explain them as best as I can. So just brace yourself for the chaos that's inside. I pretty much like to lay out my builds all the same. The outline I do in cobblestone and the interior outline I also do in cobblestone. And the way I do it is I have the floor area. Of course, it won't stay this way, but I try and like lay out where I want the paths and the rooms to be at. And the cobblestone helps kind of guide you along. So like here, this would be a wall right here, and that's indicated by this cobblestone on this level here. Any cobblestone that's down here means it's a floor. And this here means that there's going to be a stair on that block. So there will be a staircase here, or sorry, there'll be a stair here, 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 and here. That'll lead us up to this floor, which is all cobblestone, meaning that this will be the base floor. And then this wall means that it'll go all the way around. And up here you'll see there's more stairs and some more walls, just indicating that this will be blocked off and you won't be able to see like through it. So basically wall here, wall here, wall here as we're going up, and then a wall here. And right here is a ceiling bit. That's the the floor of the next level, and that's pretty much how it works. And I'm sorry if it's a little chaotic. I'm going to try and walk you through the build as best as I can. But through the front door here, we have this hallway that we walk down. Down here can be a little basement area. You'd see there's a little bit of room over there we might be able to utilize. But right here is where I want my storage to be. I figured wall of chests right here on this side, and wall of chests, and we can stick some barrels back there, and probably some like furnace array or something like that that can just snug in here, or more chests if we need it. And up these stairs, I want this area to be like a little kitchen area. I want to keep the ceiling relatively high. I think it'd be nice to have a nice big bay window to kind of overlook the ocean that's out there. I think that'd be really pretty and bring in a lot of natural light. And then back here, of course, there's the patio area. And up here we have the stairs that'll lead up to one of the levels. I don't know if it's technically the second story, the third story. There's a lot of different levels and a lot of elevation changes, so I don't really know what to call it, but we'll call this like the upstairs area, or the primary upstairs area. But we have this nice hallway here, and then a big open space we can utilize. Currently, I'm thinking this might be where my bedroom area is, but I'm not 100% sure because we can knock a nice little window out of this right here and a little bit over here maybe. And yeah, it could be nice. It just would be a chore to climb the stairs all the time. And then up here, there might be like a very small room at the very top. I don't know what I put up here, but I think it'd be fun to incorporate this space up here because we have it. Back down at the storage area, if we walk past the basement and to the front door again, up these stairs, so those stairs are 1 block up, meaning it'll be an actual like staircase block, and these stairs are 2 block spaces, meaning there will be a slab here, and then this will be a full block, and then a slab and a full block. So it'll be a half slab staircase going up here. And this little room is, I'm not sure what this area is going to be yet, actually. There's this little area we can go up so that it's not right on top of the hallway, and kind of gives us a little nook in this corner. And if need be, we'll just take that away and have nothing here if it gets a little too cramped. But there is the space here. And back here, I don't know what I want to put back here, but I know it'll be something probably just completely decorative because I don't see myself using this side of the house very much. And you can see up here I was playing around with, having ceiling blocks. But basically, that's how the outline looks at the moment, and I'm really sorry if you couldn't follow that. I tried to explain it the best I could, but my methods are a little crazy and very chaotic, I understand. So hopefully whenever we get it all put together, it'll be easier for you guys to visualize, and it might be a little easier for me to explain too. So I'll cut back once I have some of the outline laid out, and hopefully you can see it a little bit better. All right, so I did a little bit of work. It's not quite done yet, but there is some progress being made. Of course, you can't see it right now, but you can see I put the chests in, and I got a little bit of roof in this area put in, as well as a floor for the kitchen area. I made the ceiling here one connected thing because I feel like it kind of ties the two together. Like this will be a little smeltery area here with this furnaces in the floor. Of course, I want it to be more of like a kitchen, but the ceiling kind of ties it together because it's kind of like a work area. And I've got all the chests laid out with the barrels in the corners. You see we got, I think it's like 90 chests in here, which is hopefully going to be enough for now. Eventually, I'm sure we'll move up to an actual storage building. But I don't have the floor in because I haven't decided what I want to do with the floor yet. But yeah, that's the progress so far. So I've done a bit more work. I filled in this area here. You can see I extended the ceiling all the way down to this wall. I like the way that that looks. And over here, the birch floor is temporary. That's going to be beehives, but currently I have 0 honeycomb, and that's kind of necessary for making beehives. So yeah, once I get those, then this floor will change. And right here, these are deep slate tile slabs because those are either placeholders, or that's kind of like the stair variant that I like the most. But this one might get changed to like a stone brick or something to match this floor better. But over here, these might stay depending on how I texture those walls. And right here, you can see I have mushroom stem for the wall. I might change that to a smooth sandstone. I'm not really sure how I feel about it right now. But yeah, that's a little bit of an update. So I've done a bit more work, and I've changed this to some smooth sandstone instead of the mushroom stem. I think it looks a lot nicer. And once the beehives are in here, it'll complement the wall very nicely, and I think it'll fit in a lot more than the mushroom stem. But over around here, I added this little staircase going up. I switched it to staircases and not the slabs because I wanted to put this little divider here, and the slabs were kind of getting in the way of it. But the divider kind of helped me, section off the area a little bit, and then brought it over here too, to this little small room. I'm not set on the floor here. I think the red kind of pops, and it's a nice bit of color. Same with the blue here. But I'm either considering this or some spruce, and I might bring this theme over into this room. I'm not 100% sure what this room will be yet. I think maybe it could be like a potion brewing area. In that case, I'd keep it a little more rustic feeling and a little more kind of like stony, if you can imagine that. But over on this side, you can see I switched it to stone brick stairs. I think that fits a lot nicer. And then over here, I think I'm going to keep these. I'm not really sure yet, but you can see I have to keep these 2 walls in here. So I'm going to add some like paintings and stuff. Same with over here. I might add, this will either have like maps on it, or it'll be like a big painting wall or something. We'll find something to put up there. But this isn't decorating, this is room setting. So up here, these stairs, you can see I took off the very topmost layer because it just fit a lot better with the rooms down there with their ceilings. And I think this will be nice. We could have a nice buttress ceiling and some big old windows. And there's also some potential for like floor to ceiling windows, which I think would look really nice and kind of provide a lot of natural light up into this space in the house. And I think it'll look really good when it's done. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. All right, so we are done for the most part. I'm having troubles with the attic. I don't really have any ideas for it, and I'm not liking anything that I'm putting down, so I'm just going to leave it for now because I'm a little tired of doing this, and I'm also tired of running back and forth, so I think it's about time that I start moving some of my storage over to this house now that it's pretty much done for the most part. We definitely still need to decorate the inside, but for now, the rooms where they are, except for this isn't done. I'll do this more of like whenever I go to do the docks or on that side. I think it'd be fun to connect those 2 up. But for the most part, this place is done. It's just lacking decorations, obviously. And up here, I'll show you. I don't know what to do with this. I don't want to like cut it off here and, just section that off, or I don't know. There's just a lot of things that I could do with it that I'm not really sure what I want to do with right now. So I'm going to leave it and move on to other things. But the rest of it is done. And around here, this little extension, the shack piece, I finished the floor. You can see this is the bottom texture of the blacksmithing table, which looks really nice. And I took out the spruce trapdoors that were here, and now the reds kind of complement each other, and I think it looks a little bit better. And it also pushes the ceiling up. And yeah, so pretty much every room is done. It's just lacking some decorations, and that's what we're going to move on to next. But first, I want to move everything into the storage system. All right, so it may not look like it, but every single one of these chests has literally all of my items in it. And that took a lot longer than I thought. It took about an hour to move everything from over where I was based up to that storage system. But you can see I got the most of it done. Those barrels are full of pumpkins and potatoes and carrots, and I'm not touching those until I get some kind of a silo built. But yeah, that's everything moved into the house, and now it's time to start decorating. And oh yeah, I moved the map up to here. So temporarily, this will be where the map is at, and eventually we'll update it and make it look all nice. But for now, it's gonna stay right here, and I don't know when we'll do another one, but probably not for a while, so it doesn't really matter where we put it. But yeah, that's where it's sitting at right now, and we also got this sitting here, if you remember what that was from. But yeah, now it's time to start getting to the decorating. And several hours later, we're done. For the most part, I mean, the outside isn't quite done yet, but you can see I've got windows in places, and that's kind of an indication that we've done a lot on the inside. So yeah, in here, I kept it pretty simple. I added some decorations to the wall because without it, it was kind of flat, and I added some framework too with the spruce strip logs. And through here, we have the storage system. You can see the windows kind of peeking through there. It adds a lot of light to this area, and I really like that. And it helps it feel more open, in my opinion. And we still have the birch floor in here for now. Once I get the beehives, then we'll replace this floor and get it actually looking nice. Up these stairs, I finished the kitchen, and it's nothing too heavily decorated. You can see I've got a bunch of invisible item frames. Those are from vanillatweaks.net. If I remember, I'll put a link in the description. But it's just a little invisible item frame, not too cheaty, and it's nice for decoration. But we got a little stove top with some meat cooking, some chopping area overlooking the sea, and then I've got the stone cutter here because it's real close to the storage area, and it kind of makes sense to have in a kitchen. But up here, oh, I guess back here, the patio is not quite done yet, and that'll be a little bit later. But up the stairs, I finally finished the upstairs area, and I'm at a spot where I like it, and I think it'll stay like this for a while. I don't know about this section. I had it open for a while. Like these pillars weren't here, and it was a lot more open. I don't know if I'll knock this out again and have it more open. I shifted the map over, added some windows, looking out areas, and I think it looks really nice. And then through here is like the master bedroom. Nothing too crazy, just a little area to sleep in, little fireplace, and then over here we have a little closet. Eventually, hopefully I'll have my backup set of armor on here. Full netherite, full enchanted, whatever, in case I die and I need to have another piece of armor. But that's what I landed on for up here, and I like the way it turned out. Not too heavily decorated, but also I think it looks nice. Back down here, you can see the basement isn't quite done yet, and that'll get done when we do the docks in the back patio area, and then, the entire outside of the house. But that'll get done eventually, and then I'll show you guys what I do with that. Over up these stairs on the side, we have this nice little lounge room, and I moved this over here because I thought it was kind of fitting. And then eventually, once we beat the dragon, I would like to put it right here as a nice little lamp. That might be hard to picture right now, but once we get it in there, I'm sure you'll understand what I mean. And then also added a nice little bed here because, it's easier than running all the way upstairs. And I also plan on having a bed down in the basement area, so it's nice and close, and, just have a few different options in case I need it. And then through here, we have this little workshop area that I think turned out really nicely. It's, kind of dirty, kind of dingy, whatever, but that's kind of the vibe I was going for. Kind of like a washroom, outside room, spare plants, spare armor stands, trash cans, all that kind of stuff. That's pretty much the interior of the house decorated. There's a lot of weird spaces here and there. I'm sure I'll point them out whenever I'm decorating the outside. I'll show you some of the windows, kind of, you can look in and see some of the spots that aren't fully decorated, like there. So I don't quite know what I'm going to do with this area yet. I might add something to the back of these windows so that it doesn't look like it's just a bunch of mess. But yeah, that'll come later. And the next step is to work on detailing the outside of the house. I don't have any ideas currently, but I'll get to work and I'll check back in with you guys once I have some ideas and some plans laid out. Okay, I'm gonna try and explain this, and I'm sorry again for the very chaotic nature, but basically, this is what my idea for the terrain is. If you can see it and visualize it with me, this will be like a hill continuing over this way, so it kind of brings the front lawn out a little bit more. And then over in that area, on this little flat ground, we're going to add in a boathouse, and the docks will kind of stretch around the cliff face and then come this way, and we'll have a dock house right here on the edge and maybe a stairway going up there. But yeah, if you can visualize it, this will be like a cliff, and that's what the dirt outlines are kind of symbolizing. And yeah, I apologize for all of the very chaotic outlines that I do. If you can follow me, congratulations. It's got to be hard to understand, I know, but I figured I'd show you what it looks like before we put the hill in here so you can kind of see what the process is, and we'll get right into it. Alright, if you're trying to learn from this or like mirror my methods, first off, I'm sorry. And second off, I like to section it off as you see from like the corner points where the big curves are going to be, and then section it off further from there and do little sections. So like I had this corner and then that corner, and then I sectioned it off in half and made it this little section and that little section. And I'm just kind of working through and looking at it, looking like what needs to be a little more smooth, what needs to be added, and little bits of area here and there. And that's kind of how I'm going about this. And yeah, it's just a slow going process. I just recommend sectioning it off. All right, and this is one section of it done. I'm not going to do everything piece by piece because I know that'll get boring, so I'll just cut back whenever it's all done, but I figured I'd show you like how this is looking so far. Okay, so that actually didn't take very long. We've got it all laid out here. You can see the grass is kind of slowly taking over. And once that's all grassified, I guess might be the word, it'll look a lot better than it does right now. And, there are some touch-up areas that we need, like over here on this side, it's more of a sheer cliff face. So I might add some stone like you see in natural formations like that over there. And, but for the most part, I think this looks really good. We are going to try and squeeze in a boat shack here. I don't know if we'll do that right now or even this episode. That might be later down the line, but definitely going to do some of the docks area over there and wrapping into this area. And I think this, where it's sitting at right now, looks really good and a lot better than it did before. And you can see it from this angle over here, it doesn't look that bad at all. It kind of gives us a lot more room. It also places the house in a more favorable position so that it wasn't just, on the edge of a cliff. Now it's kind of grounded here with this added land feature in. And eventually we'll put kind of a staircase going up. I'm not sure like what direction it'll go, but there will be a staircase going up there so we don't have to climb this here. And also it'll move into a retaining wall that eventually we're going to put in for this wheat field over here. And I think that'll look really nice. So I have the back patio laid out in a way that I kind of like, but at the time I don't have any further ideas for it. And I don't want to spend the rest of this episode just trying to get this back patio to look nice. I kind of want to focus more on the exterior of the house and making that look pretty. But right now, this is what it looks like. We have a nice pathway leading down to what eventually I'm going to cut this out. It'll be like a little cave area. And then the dock will continue around. You can see the cobblestone. That's not actually going to be the dock. There will be a dock there, though I don't have any ideas for it at the moment. But up here, it's just a simple little path, down here and then up this way. And then over here, I expanded this pathway just a little bit so it wraps around the side. But I want to finish actually decorating the outside of the house, and we'll work on this later. Most likely it'll be next episode that this will get worked on, but for now, I'm happy with where it's at. It's kind of got my idea. And if you guys have any suggestions for this area, please be sure to let me know. But moving on from there, it's time to work on the outside of the house and, adding some greenery, adding some leaf features, some plants maybe here and there, fixing this area and areas like that around here, and, making our front yard look nice now that there's some terrain on here that we can actually work with. All right, so I did some work on this retaining wall that I said I was going to put in, and you can see, half of it's done, the top half isn't. And I know I said we're going to work on detailing the house, but this, in my brain, I tied these two together. So It's nothing too complicated, just some tough blocks, some mossy cobblestone, mossy carpets, a couple of moss blocks, and then these are some dark oak leaves that I sprinkled around. And yeah, it's nothing overly complicated. It looks really nice, I think, in my opinion. And once I finish this top section, then I'll get back to you and show you what it all looks like. And then we'll start adding some kind of rock formations that are somewhat similar to this retaining wall around the house and kind of setting it in place with the terrain around it and, adding some leaves, some color, all that kind of stuff. So here it is completed. Again, nothing too complicated, just brought the same design around the back wall. And now this field kind of looks like it should be here. It looks like it has a place, and we're going to take this kind of concept and do the same thing to the house now. All right, so I did some detailing, and I added these leaves and like the patches of leaves and vines and stuff around every bit of the house. I also went through and I swapped some of the dark oak to make it sideways, to make it look a little more weathered, and it just adds some texture around the build, and I think it looks really nice. And then I added this little spot up here. I don't know if this will stay, but it was something to put there on that part of the wall. So it'll stay for now. And that's basically all that I did around the build. But I wanted to give you a progress update before I moved any further. And I also added some glow lichen here and there, just around where the vines were at. And you can see there's one right there. Those vines will eventually grow down. But once all the vines grow in and, spread a little bit more, it'll look a little more weathered down, a lot more green. I'm still debating on whether or not I should add anything to like the parts of the roof here, because adding in some mossy cobblestone, I guess mossy cobblestone stairs would look the best for what I would like to achieve, but I'm not sure if it'll look good with the build overall, so that'll be something I might play around with, and that's where we're at. I put the stairway in to get up to the house and a little bit of retaining wall to go with it. I didn't do a broken up retaining wall like this one with all the mossy cobblestone and moss and stuff, because this is supposed to be more of like a modern one, or one that's like kept up with, and that's why the andesite, the polished andesite, is there. So it's similar to the back porch where we have that as showing it's like being reinforced by the andesite, and I think it turned out really well. It's kind of got a very organic feel to it, like the path up here. It gets pretty narrow in some spots, but it's a nice little incline, and it's not like a direct staircase, so I like it. And after this, I want to move on to terraforming the land around it. That's going to include, I think, just getting a bunch of moss, basically, and spreading the moss around. It's kind of hard to tell. Like, it doesn't look super green right now because Optifine isn't out for 1.19. So like the grass edges kind of look gross, and it's a lot more brown than green. So I think bringing in the moss around this area will help a lot. And it won't be very complicated. I'll go through it once I decide like a process that I want to do for that process. But it won't be very complicated, and yeah, I'll start to work on that. So I went through and I mossified everything, and then I took all of the bushes, the grass, the carpets, all that. I took it off, and it's all in my inventory. And the next step that I'm going to do is put it all back down, and it'll be in like spots that I want it to be in. So it'll be less random and more of like, patches here, patches there. And I think in my opinion, it looks a lot better once, it's actually completed. I also went and took out those bushes. I'm going to add in some too tall flowers there. I think it'll look better. But all in all, that's pretty much the process that I'm going to go through for the entire bit of the house. And once I get this section done, I'll show you how it looks, and we'll see what we're going to do from there. One thing that I forgot to mention is that I'm going to go through and add some azalea leaves down where they can't really, like, you can't see the side texture. So just at the top part of this leaf here, we're going to add that in, and it'll add a nice little bit of texture to the ground that isn't quite like a bush, like a leaf, but is just a nice little, addition to the ground area. We're also going to add in these bushes into the ground like we did the leaves, so it adds a little bit of a pop of color. We can't really do it on the side of the mountain because you'll see the side leaf texture, and I don't really want that. So we're going to add them into places where you can only see the top. And you see the azalea bush, the regular one, doesn't really provide a much different texture to the moss, so that's why we use the flowering azalea. And you just kind of do it with the same premise as the leaves, and even if you wanted to, you could add in the flowering azalea leaves to the same places that we have these regular azalea leaves. And with just those little bits added in, you can see it looks a lot nicer. I went through and removed some of the dirt patches, so we have more of a green facade. And then you can see the little bits of detail here and there. and it's not overpowering like just bone mealing the moss around it is, and it looks really good. The next step is going to be adding in some rocks here and there, probably, in just a couple different places. And then after that, it'll be time for some finalization details, and then I think the terraforming around the front part will be done. A little while later, we are complete. I added the final bits of detail here and there. You can see there's some sugarcane, I added some ferns, there's some dark oak saplings, which are a great little piece. They, by themselves, they won't grow a tree, so you can just put them down without having to worry about putting a string on top. I added the flowers to the flower bed. I still need to collect the other two tall flowers. You can see the rocks around here, here, and here, and they add a nice little piece to break up all the green. They add in some stony texture that isn't as abrupt as this retaining wall here. And for the most part, oh yeah, I also added these coarse dirt patches because they look really good and they're not just regular dirt texture. They are a lot better in my opinion, and they add a little bit of extra pop of color just like the rocks do and the retaining wall. All in all, that's the terraforming around the front done. I'm pretty much going to do this exact same thing all around the house, and I'm sure you guys don't want to see that. So we got a lot done in this episode. We completely finished the house, the interior, the exterior. I still need to do some terraforming, but that'll be done before next episode. There's a lot more work to be done around here, so I hope you stick around, and I also hope you enjoyed the episode. If you have any feedback, please be sure to let me know. And with that being said, have a great day.